From humble beginnings in a suburban California garage to becoming the world's most valuable company, the journey of Apple is a tapestry of relentless innovation, bold decisions, and the unwavering belief that technology can change lives. As the glow of the Apple logo has come to symbolize creativity and excellence, the company's story is filled with lessons not only about technology, but also about vision, adaptation, and the tireless pursuit of perfection. The Apple story begins in 1976, when college dropouts Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, aided by their friend Ronald Wayne, first set out to democratize computing. Their goal was simple yet revolutionary: to put the power of technology in the hands of individuals. In the Jobs family garage in Los Altos, California, they worked tirelessly, soldering circuits and dreaming of changing the world. The result was the Apple I, a fully assembled computer motherboard that offered a radical departure from the DIY kits of the era. Where personal computing had been the domain of hobbyists and academics, Apple's approach signaled a future in which these machines could become both accessible and indispensable. Building on this momentum, the release of the Apple II in 1977 proved transformative. Sleek, powerful, and easy to use, it was the first truly successful mass-market personal computer. The inclusion of color graphics, expansion slots, and intuitive design made it appealing to homes, schools, and small businesses alike. Apple had set itself apart through a simple yet powerful philosophy. Technology should be beautiful, simple, and approachable, but success was never a straight line. As the 1980s advanced, competitors entered the market and internal tensions came to a head. The introduction of the Macintosh in 1984, lauded for its graphical user interface, and the now iconic 1984 advertising campaign, redefined what a computer could feel like. Its point-and-click interface, friendly design, and creative software unleashed new possibilities for artists, educators, and entrepreneurs. Yet, commercial uptake lagged behind technical acclaim, and in a dramatic corporate struggle, Steve Jobs was ousted from the very company he had helped create. What followed was a period of uncertainty. Apple experimented with new products, but struggled to reclaim its dominance. The spark of innovation flickered, even as competitors surged ahead. But Apple's resilience ran deeper than any setback. Meanwhile, Jobs pursued new ventures, founding Next and acquiring Pixar, each endeavor sharpening his talents and vision. When Apple acquired Next in '97, Jobs returned to the helm of a company in crisis, but with renewed clarity about what the future could hold. This second act is where Apple's story shifts from merely impressive to legendary. Jobs' radical moves included product simplification, design overhauls, and a firm focus on customer experience. The introduction of the iMac in 1998 signaled a return to Apple's core values: distinctive design, technical innovation, and user-friendly functionality. The translucent, boldly colored shell was a visual rebellion against the beige boxes of the era, and consumers responded with enthusiasm. Yet, Apple's greatest innovations were still ahead. In 2001, the iPod reimagined how we experience music, shrinking entire music libraries into the palm of a hand and ushering in a digital revolution. The launch of iTunes created an ecosystem that connected hardware, software, and content, a profound shift that would shape the technology industry for decades. Then, in 2007, Apple unveiled the iPhone, forever changing the way we communicate, work, and live. Jobs, holding the device on stage, described it as an iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator, all in one. Few could foresee at that moment how the iPhone would redefine everyday life, from navigation to photography, from socializing to business. The App Store, launched a year later, unleashed the creativity of millions of developers, transforming the smartphone from a luxury into an integral part of modern society. Apple's innovation continued with the iPad, Apple Watch, and AirPods, each product not merely a refinement of existing ideas, but a bold leap that reimagined what technology could do. Through every launch, Apple's secret lay not only in the products themselves, but in the ecosystem that knit all devices and services into a seamless experience. Devices connected fluidly, content synced effortlessly, and users could move from their phone to their MacBook to their Apple TV with minimal friction. At the heart of this success story, certain principles have guided Apple's path. Firstly, an obsession with design. Whether it's the smooth aluminum unibody of a MacBook, the satisfying click of a home button, or the crisp typography of a user interface, Apple's relentless attention to detail is legendary. Their design team, famously led by Sir Jony Ive for decades, spent years refining even the smallest elements. Curves, textures, materials all received the same care, all aimed at making technology tactile, delightful, and approachable. Second is Apple's focus on simplicity. Products are engineered to be intuitive. A child can pick up an iPad and understand it in minutes, while advanced users still find depth and power. The company's motto, "It just works," is more than a slogan, it's a mission. This simplicity is not accidental, but the result of ruthless discipline, cutting features that do not add value and rethinking every interaction from the user's perspective. Third is the power of secrecy and surprise. Apple cultivates anticipation like no other, with its famously tight-lipped product development and spectacular keynote presentations. This culture of secrecy is not just about preventing leaks, it's about building excitement and ensuring that every launch feels like a genuine event. The magic of "one more thing," said with a glint in Jobs' eye, became a cultural phenomenon, an invitation to witness the future, together. Fourth is the boldness to say no. Apple has often turned away from trends that did not fit its vision, resisting buttons and controls when others added complexity, refusing to license its software widely, or holding off on features until they met the company's standards. This discipline sometimes drew criticism, but it allowed Apple to focus on what it did best, making products that redefined their category. Yet, Apple's legacy is not simply about hardware and software. The company has had a profound cultural impact, shaping the way we think about creativity, education, and human connection. Its advertising campaigns from Think Different to Mac versus PC have celebrated those who see things differently, positioning Apple not just as a company, but as a movement. In classrooms, art studios, offices, and homes, millions have used Apple products to create, to discover, and to connect. The company's meteoric growth has also brought challenges. Questions about labor practices, environmental impact, and the balance of innovation with user privacy have prompted worldwide debates. In recent years, Apple has responded by investing heavily in renewable energy, incorporating recycled materials, and championing user privacy as a fundamental right. The transition to Apple Silicon, the shift from Intel processors to their own in-house chips, marks the latest chapter in Apple's drive for integration and performance, promising new heights for creativity and productivity. Yet perhaps the greatest secret of Apple's success lies in its culture, a potent mix of risk-taking, relentless pursuit of excellence, and fierce independent thinking. Steve Jobs once described Apple as the intersection of technology and liberal arts. This unique blend gives rise to products that are not merely tools, but extensions of our imagination. Behind every device, there are countless hours of research, debate, and iteration, pushing boundaries, questioning assumptions, and striving for the extraordinary. As Apple looks to the future, the questions remain as urgent and exciting as ever. How will the company adapt to new frontiers in artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and health technology? Can it continue to shape culture and society with the same boldness and creativity? The company's commitment to privacy, sustainability, and inclusivity will be tested as pressures mount from regulators, competitors, and consumers. But if the history of Apple reveals anything, it is the power of vision to look beyond the present, challenge the status quo, and embrace the risk of failure in pursuit of something better. It is a story of design and discipline, of culture and courage, of thousands of minds coming together to build the future, one elegant, intuitive device at a time. Along the way, Apple has shown that true innovation is not the result of a single breakthrough or a flash of inspiration, but the steady accumulation of countless small improvements, each driven by a simple question: How can we make this better? That spirit, restless, creative, and unyielding, remains Apple's greatest innovation and its most enduring legacy. From that Californian garage to the gleaming glass cubes of today's Apple stores, the journey continues. A journey not merely of products and profits, but of imagination unleashed, possibilities explored, and lives transformed. And as long as the questions remain, so does the invitation. Think different, dream bigger, build something wonderful.